Ballance hits 50 on tight second day. Kent dealt with another top-order wobble, largely thanks to Zach Crawley's 90, but the hosts Yorkshire picked up wickets at key intervals to lead their visitors at 224 for 7 at the close of play on day 1. Nathan Gilchrist and Marcus O'Riordan set their sights on dragging that score to 250 in the morning session, and they'd almost get there, 244 on the board when Yorkshire picked up their 8th wicket, Gilchrist gone, bowled by a real peach of a delivery. They'd make 250, but they were running out of overs to qualify for more bonus points. Not that that fact put off Miguel Cummins. He climbed into the Yorkshire bowling, sending them to all parts of Emerald Headingley, and the score raced towards 300. The aggressive approach got them there, both men riding by the seat of their trousers and quickly firing their way to a 50 partnership for the 9th wicket. O'Riordan was in the 40s when he was forced to walk. He dragged Olivier on, trying to manufacture another boundary. The innings came to an end in the next over. Matt Quinn, on loan from Essex, could only add 1 before he handed Bess a simple caught and bowled chance. Kent all out for 305, over to the hosts. It hadn't been the most straightforward of knocks for Kent, but at least they'd avoided the ignominy of another collapse and put a decent total on the board. Yorkshire shared the wickets, only Root going without off his solitary over. In the time remaining before lunch, Yorkshire added 6 runs, unbeaten. For a time, it looked like Lythe and Cola Cadmore would get their side off to a decent start. But they were on the cusp of 40 when Lythe had to go, caught by Cummins off the bowling of Stevens. They were still shy of 50 runs when Cola Cadmore dragged Gilchrist on, out for 14. But Root and Ballance came together. They ensured that the score would tick over to 50, but there was a long road ahead if Yorkshire were to find their way to parity. And with a Root double into the offside, they brought up the 50 partnership and took the total into 3 figures. Ballance was playing well and in the 40s, closely followed by Root. They'd find their way to the break, unbeaten. Tee taken with the score, 127 for 2. Root wouldn't go much further. Quinn had the England captain caught down the leg side in the 2nd over after tea. Ballance found his way to 50. A punchy drive took him to the total and gave his side a good platform. They were then almost halfway to their opponents, 150 on the board thanks to Ballance and Brooke. It was a fruitful partnership. They found themselves closing in on 200 and the deficit wasn't far off dipping into double figures. They'd reached the mark still together, and it was Brooke's turn to look for his 50. A single off Quinn was enough to take him to the mark, his knock coming at almost a runner ball, and now the deficit wasn't quite so imposing, into the 90s. But Kent had other ideas. Ballance was resolute, but Brooke couldn't stay with him any longer, out LBW to Gilchrist. Tattersall followed, caught behind for 1 off the bowling of Denley. The day was at an end 2 overs later. A final boundary from Bess took the score to 240 for 5, and Yorkshire were in a little bit of bother, still 65 runs behind their visitors.